What is going on, you guys? It is another episode of the Sci-Fly Zone where the multiverse meets the seventh inning stretch. It's your boys, Trenton and CJ, and today's destination has taken us finally back to Major League Baseball. It's been a while because it's been the off season, so we haven't had too much to talk about. But now enough time is accumulated to where we got some news to talk about. We've got the top 100 players list that we're going to break down, but we're going to do the top 50, not the top 100, because we don't want this video to be too long. And also, we're going to be breaking down how that top 50 player list is going to be factoring into who some of the best teams in Major League Baseball besides the Dodgers, and also just breaking down some of the transactions that have happened recently. So let's get right into it. I'm really excited that the baseball season is starting up again. It's been too long. Players are reporting soon. It's a good time.
Yeah, man, I'm excited for the season to get back. Games are starting really soon. Spring training games are starting up this weekend, I believe. So really exciting times. Yeah, it's been mostly Marvel and DC stuff in the off season when we haven't been talking about transactions. But yeah, man, we're right around the corner from the season, and it's gonna be really exciting.
Yeah, so we're going to go through the list 10 players at a time just so we can kind of have a bit of consistency here. So, first 1 through 10, honestly, I'm pretty cool with this. I think this is a pretty good 1 through 10. The only person that I would think about maybe moving is Vlad Jr., only because I feel like his October performance is heavily factoring into this placement ranking, because if you were to just look at his 2025 stats alone, I don't think they're necessarily top 10 player worthy, but I do think his potential combined with how he performed in October, he's got the skill and talent to be in the top 10 for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm sure the playoff performance played a little bit into this ranking here. The power numbers were a little down over the regular season last year, but I mean, if he's able to replicate what he did during the playoffs in the 2026 season, or for at least part of it, then yeah, I think he's definitely going to be worthy of a top 10 player for sure. One ranking that I'm a little iffy on is Cal Raleigh at 4. As someone who was very high on Cal Raleigh last year, I was really rooting for him to win the MVP. He had a historic season. It's probably the best season we've ever seen from a catcher. I just don't know how likely it is for him to replicate that or come close to replicating that. I think he's probably around projected to hit about 30-ish homers this year. I mean, obviously, there's 2025 was insane. It didn't come out of nowhere because he's like a 30 homer guy, but I would be surprised if he's able to come close to 60 again.
Yeah, I am hoping that he can do at least 40 again. And what spot would you want him to be at if not 4?
I think I might honestly just switch him with J-Ram. I might just put J-Ram at 4. He's ranked 5 on this list, which I do love. I love that he's a top 5 player. He's just absolutely outstanding. He's like a 5-tool player. This year, he's very likely to reach 400 doubles, 300 homers, and 300 stolen bases, and 1,000 RBIs over his career. He's going to reach all of those milestones in 2026. So he's had an outstanding career. Every year, he's just been one of the best players. So I love that he's getting his flowers.
Yeah, like he's always minimum 20-20, even 30-30. Like he's always just so consistent. I mean, he's like the infielder switch hitting version of Hank Aaron that steals more bags.
Yeah, honestly, he's just so consistent. Like the last 2 years in a row, he's stolen 40 or more bases. He almost had a 40-40 season in 2024. He's just an incredible player and really fun to watch. And he just signed a new extension recently. So I'm glad for him. He seems like he's going to be a Guardian for life, probably.
Yeah, I hope so. But also at the same time, that's if they do manage to win a championship while he's on the roster, because it's not looking too hot right now.
Yeah, they gotta make some moves to build around him.
Yeah, but everyone else here definitely deserves to be in the top 10. So for 11 through 20, the first guy that I want to bring up is number 13 here. Not so lucky number 13, Yoshinobu Yamamoto. I do totally think he deserves to be in the top 50 for sure. And also his postseason run that he had last year, I mean, 3 wins in the World Series alone. He absolutely put the Dodgers on his back during last year's playoffs, and he totally deserves to be in the top 50. But at the same time, there are like 4 other pitchers here who also deserve to be in the top 50, and they're not. Honestly, no, there's 5 pitchers. Zach Wheeler, he was 51. Freddie Peralta, he was 63. Andrew Abbott, he was 90. No Nick Pivetta in the top 100. And Christopher Sanchez, he's number 29. So that's 16 places lower than Yamamoto. And all the guys that I just named had higher WAR than Yamamoto during the regular season last year. And this isn't 2025 playoffs, rankings. This is all of 2025 rankings. And all these guys had higher WAR than Yamamoto during the regular season. And some of these guys had lower walks per nine, higher Ks per nine, and they did it in more games. I mean, Christopher Sanchez, number 29, he led all of MLB for pitchers in WAR last year. I just can't get behind that all of these guys are lower on the list than Yamamoto, or some of them not on the list at all. Like, yes, Yamamoto had an amazing playoff and he had a pretty good regular season, but some of these guys deserve to be here. I mean, Freddie Peralta led all of MLB in wins last year. And yes, I know wins for pitchers are not really regarded as like an important stat anymore, but like that's got to show for something to be in the top 50.
Yeah, yeah, 100%, man. I pretty much agree with everything you just said about these rankings. Like, yeah, I understand that Yamamoto's a great pitcher and he had one of the best playoffs that we've seen. But I think that's playing a lot into his ranking here at 13, kind of like how Vlad at 10 because of how good his playoff was. Christopher Sanchez should arguably be higher than Yamamoto. I know he didn't get that playoff run that Yamamoto did. He didn't get the chance for it. But I mean, he had like a 2.5 ERA. He had an 8 WAR season, like you mentioned. He had the second highest B WAR among all MLB players, not among pitchers, the second highest B WAR as a Major League Baseball player, only behind Aaron Judge. So like that's got to be worth something. That's at least a top 25, I think. And honestly, to me, the most egregious ranking here might be Zach Wheeler getting left out of the top 50. I'm really upset about that. I've
I
talked
mean,
about it on
okay,
this.
it was 51, so
Yeah.
but still.
He should be top 30 at worst. I believe he should be in the top 30 players. And he did miss some time during the regular season. Towards the end, he got hurt. But in 24 games, he had a 2.71 ERA and a K per nine over 11. So if that's not worth a top 30 player, then I don't know what is. He's been one of the best pitchers in the last like 8 years consistently. You know exactly what you're going to get out of him. Hasn't won that Cy Young yet. Maybe 2026 is going to be his year. I hope it is. But yeah, I mean, some of these other guys too that are left off the list are probably deserved to getting in the top 50.
Yeah, definitely. Next at 15 and 16, Tatis and Julio Rodriguez. I also think these guys should be a little lower because their offensive stats, in my opinion, are not top 20 hitter, but defense definitely factored into why they're so high because both of these guys are top defensive outfielders as well. So I kind of get it, but I just don't necessarily think that they both deserved to be like jumped up from 22 and 23 from last year as well.
Yeah, there are probably some guys who deserve to be ranked higher than them. Obviously, the defense is working in their favor. They're two of the best defensive outfielders in baseball. Tatis won a Platinum Glove like a couple years after moving to the outfield from shortstop. But yeah, I think that the defense is probably playing a role with that for sure. The thing that works against Julio Rodriguez is he pretty much always has a slow first half. He takes a little bit to get into his
Always.
mid-season form. I don't know what it is. He always struggles in the first half and then has a great second half. So if he can just do his second half over both halves, then yeah, he's a top 15 player.
Yeah. And Kyle Schwarber getting a jump from 65 all the way to 17. I'm really happy to see him in the top 20 because I think he deserves it. He's one of the best hitters in all of baseball. And he's fun.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, he's really fun to watch. One of the best and weirdest leadoff hitters we've ever seen. But he had an incredible season, 50 plus homers. If you're going to finish second in MVP, you have to be in the top 20 players in baseball. That's kind of just how it goes.
That's a great point. Yeah. And Ketel Marte at 19, I think he should be lower personally because, he's a great player, but I think he should be swapped with his teammate Geraldo Perdomo. Just based on the 2025 stats, I mean, Perdomo had almost 3 higher WAR than Ketel Marte, and like, yes, granted, like he got to play 35 more games, but I don't think it's possible to accumulate 3 WAR in 35 games. And on top of that, he had 30 more RBIs basically, and he had 23 more stolen bases and worked 30 more walks and had a better batting average. So I don't know why Ketel Marte is higher than Geraldo Perdomo, especially since Ketel Marte and Geraldo Perdomo have like pretty much the same defensive numbers more or less. So I don't understand. Like, yes, Ketel Marte is a more notable name and Geraldo Perdomo hasn't been here as long, but Perdomo had a better year. Put him higher on the list.
Yeah. I think that, I mean, Perdomo obviously had a breakout season, finished fourth in MVP. Like, yeah, he should be a top 20 player, but he's not for some reason. I think the thing working for Ketel Marte is probably his veteran status. Like you mentioned, he's been around longer. Fans know his name more. You kind of know what you're going to get out of him. He's a very consistent player. But I don't think Perdomo's year is just going to be like a flash in the pan. I feel like he's going to be able to be a top shortstop going forward. Ketel Marte is absolutely the best second baseman in baseball. He has been for a while. I think he's the only second baseman ranked in the top 50, which I think makes sense. But I wouldn't be mad if they switched Perdomo and Ketel Marte there.
Yeah, I agree. But they both deserve to be in the top 50. So I'm not going to argue with that. But also, Will Smith at 20, get him lower. Get him
Yeah,
lower. I mean, he only played 110 games last year. He had a -8 run value based on Baseball Savant's metrics. And yeah, he had a 901 OPS. That's great. But I think personally, at least he should switch with Kyle Tucker at 21 because I think Kyle Tucker, I mean, he had a better year than Will Smith last year. So I don't know why Will Smith is, I just don't think he should be here.
yeah. I was kind of surprised to see him in the top 20 as well. I think him switching with Kyle Tucker would make sense. Kyle Tucker did have a better year, and he was playing with a broken hand for part of it. He had a hairline fracture in his hand that he was hitting with. So yeah, Kyle Tucker should probably be a top 20 player. I would be surprised if he's not a top 20 player going into 2027. I think after his this first year with the Dodgers, he's probably going to be a top 20 player.
Yeah. So now let's move to 21 through 30. And like I mentioned before, 24 Perdomo, I think he should swap with Ketel Marte. Will Smith, I think he could still swap with Kyle Tucker or Freddie Freeman. But the main guy that I want to talk about here is number 28, Yordan Alvarez. Like, am I missing something? What is he doing here? Like, his 162 game
Oh,
average would have been like 20 homers, 91 RBIs, 152 hits, 57 runs, but he only played 48 games and produced 0.7 WAR and is a career DH, meaning he has little to no defensive value here to support his case. Why is he a number 28?
I'm actually glad you said this because this is going to be something that we disagree on. I think that Jordan should actually be ranked higher. I don't know if that's a hot take. I think Jordan is a better player than 28. I got to be honest. I know his 2025 was bad. It was bad. Obviously, he missed a lot of time. He missed over 120 games, basically. And when he was playing, he was not good. He was dealing with injuries, and that really diminished what he was able to do in 2025. But if you look at what he's done in the previous years, within the 2020s, especially 2022 to 2024, he's been averaging 29 doubles, 34 homers, and a 988 OPS. Like, I understand that he's like a DH only, but he's one of the best hitters in the game when he's on. When he's on, he's one of the best in the game. He's one of the most fun to watch. He hits for average and he hits for power. I totally understand that, like, ranking him here going into 2026, it kind of feels bizarre, but I I've always been kind of high on Jordan. I like him a lot. So I don't know. I think if he's healthy in 2026, he could have a really great year.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree with anything you just said. I'm just saying if we're going based off of what was done in 2025 going into 2026, I just don't think he should be here. Mike Trout, I think, still has the skill and stuff to be a top 50 player in an MLB, but I wouldn't expect him to be in here.
Yeah, and I mean, yeah. Unfortunately, he's not. It's tough. He's like ranked 80th or something. Like it's sad to see, man.
Yeah, it is.
It's probably the lowest he's ever been ranked in his career in like the last 14 years.
Yeah. And like I talked about before, Christopher Sanchez at 29, terrible. I mean, led all pitchers in WAR with 8 WAR. He was tied for the best home runs per nine in MLB, had over 200 strikeouts. I just think he should be higher than Yamamoto.
Yeah, I think he totally deserves to be at least top 25 players. I mean, in a stacked Phillies rotation, you got guys like Zach Wheeler, Jesus Luzardo struck out over 200 guys, Aaron Nola, who has been good in the past but struggled in 2025. Christopher Sanchez really broke out as like kind of the ace of that rotation. He had the best season out of any of those guys. He was striking out the guys and he was keeping guys from scoring. It was
Yeah,
just like he was one of the best at doing both of those things. So
yeah,
like he deserves to be ranked higher than that.
for sure. But we also got Nick Kurtz at 23. I'm totally with that. I like that. Trey Turner at 25. I'm also with that. He was 35 last year. Now he's 25, so nice little bump up. Gunnar Henderson was ranked 10 last year and drops down to 26. But I think 10 for 2025 was already kind of insane. So I think 26 is a good slot for him.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's a solid ranking for him. He's one of those guys that has the tools of being like a top 20, top 15 player. It's just about putting it all together at the same time. You know, he's got the glove, he's got the power, he's got the speed, but if he's able to do that over a full season, then yeah, he could be pretty great. I mean, 2024 he put up a 9.1 B WAR. So like that's kind of insane. If he can do that again, then yeah, he's going to be one of the best players in baseball.
Yeah, and he has top tier defense too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and a pretty similar player archetype right under him, Corey Seager. I think that also is pretty good considering what he did last year. I think that's right on par. And he was ranked 17th last year, so he's more or less around the same spot. And Hunter Brown, I'm really happy to see him make the top 50. He had a great year.
Yeah, 2.43 ERA and 185 innings pitched. He was great, man. He really broke out as like similar to Christopher Sanchez. He broke out as the ace for the Astros last year. And with Framber leaving, it's going to be tough for the Astros, but they have an ace now in Hunter Brown. He was third in Cy Young. He had a 10K per nine, and he's gonna be dominant going forward.
Yeah. Yeah. And they're definitely going to need that considering they lost Framber, but at least their catchers won't be getting beamed anymore.
Exactly.
But 31 through 50, I'm cool with Matt Olson being at 31. I think he deserves it. He played 162 games last year. So, he's a baller. He's in it for the love of the game. I respect him and he's pretty consistent with like what we expect him to do.
Yeah, yeah, I like that ranking for him a lot. He's a guy that's going to get you close to 30 homers, if not 30 homers every year. He's going to play you Gold Glove defense, and he's probably going to play every game because that's what he's done in the last 4 years. He's played 162 games in each season. He currently has a 782 games played streak in a row, which is obviously the most by any active player. And he's only 1,860 games behind Cal Ripken Jr. for the all-time record. So, if that doesn't show you how insane that stat is, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, man, that Cal Ripken stat is insane. But yeah, I love to see, players like Matt Olson still keeping that type of consistency on the field. I love that. But right under him, Bryce Harper, let's drop him down a little bit, in my opinion. I think he could at least swap with Pete Alonso. If we were to compare their numbers, I mean, Alonso played more games, had more extra base hits, had over 50 more RBIs, 11 more home runs, and had a better OPS, better batting average. So, I mean, I just think he needs to be above Bryce Harper here.
Yeah, I think that you should probably swap Pete with Bryce there too. Um, I think it was great for Bryce moving to first and not having to be in the outfield anymore. It's a less physically demanding position for him. He has dealt with injuries in the past, but moving to first was good for him. He's just still has been missing a little bit of time. He missed 30 games last year, while Pete Alonso hasn't really been dealing with much injury, really. Knock on wood. But yeah, I think the raw power numbers are just in favor of Pete there. It's going to be interesting to see how he adjusts to Camden Yards.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see how that turns out for sure. But in regards to the rest of the list, I'm pretty chilling with 31 to 40.
Yeah, there's a couple of these rankings that I really like and that I'm glad that they're getting their flowers. Manny Machado is one of those guys. He had a great season last year. I think he's a clear-cut Hall of Famer. Yeah, I'm really confident in that, honestly. He could reach his 400th home run this year. He will reach his 400th double this year. He's been playing elite defense like every year of his career, and I believe he's going to be going into his 33 season, so he's probably got about 5 or 6 years left. So, I mean, yeah, he could get up to 450 homers and doubles at some point. And if he does that, I think he's a Hall of Famer.
That's a good point. Yeah. Yeah, if he stays consistent, there's definitely a good chance Machado has a case for the Hall of Fame, for sure.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Speaking of consistency, another guy that I like on this ranking is Logan Webb. He has been one of the most consistent starting pitchers in baseball for the last like 4 years. Since 2022, he has had at least 32 starts. He's thrown at least 190 innings, and he's had an ERA under 3.5 every year. Most of the time, it's usually closer to like 3.1, 3.3. So you know exactly what you're going to get out of him every year. You're going to get a very consistent, very solid starting pitcher. So I'm glad he's ranked in the top 50 as well.
Yeah, me too. Do you think Robbie Ray should have been here?
Ooh, Robbie Ray totally could have been in the top 50. I think the reason that Logan Webb is in the top 50 and not Robbie Ray is because they might be expecting less out of Robbie Ray in 2026. Obviously, he had a great 2025, but I think for projecting which one of them is going to be better in 2026, it's probably going to be Logan Webb, if I were to have to guess. But yeah, I believe Robbie Ray is in the top 100. Is he not? He should be.
I'm not quite sure in regards to him. I just, since we were talking about the Giants rotation, I just thought about Robbie Ray. Nice to see some guys like Junior Caminero and Pete Crow Armstrong, who did not have a rank last year, also making it onto the top 50.
Yeah, yeah, I like this a lot. Had a chance to be ranked higher than this, but his second half was very not good. He struggled a lot in the second half. And Junior Caminero being in the top 50 is great as well. He had 50 MLB games played going into 2025, and he hit 45 homers that year. So you put him in the top 50. You
Yeah.
kind of have to.
Yeah, and Max Fried also still staying consistent, even though he had to switch over to New York. So pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah. Max Fried is another one of those guys that probably could have been ranked higher, but he just had a really bad second half. He was one of the best starting pitchers in the first half, and then in the second half, I think he had a 6.75 ERA, I believe. Ended up with a good overall season, but it could have been better.
Yeah, for sure. Pretty consistent themes between him and PCA.
Yeah.
Yeah, so now to end off the list, 41 through 50, I have a pretty similar take with Jordan Alvarez as I do with Roman Anthony. What is he doing here? He barely played. His 162 game average still would not have landed him high enough for the top 50, in my opinion. And if you're to just compare him to George Springer, I mean, Springer obviously had 70 more games played, but how do you have a guy who only has 71 games played in 2025 in the top 50 for 2026 rankings? I just don't get it. Because even what he did during that span, I don't think it's top 50 worthy.
Yeah, that really does feel like a big swing. No pun intended. But he played only 71 games in the season. He did have a solid OPS. I'll give him that. But I mean, in 71 games, you can't really get a solid sample of what the player is going to be over a full season. So I think it's kind of risky placing him, a guy who's only played 71 games, as being one of the top 50 players going into the next year. He did finish third in Rookie of the Year in only 71 games, so I don't know. The herd was a little thin there. I do know Red Sox fans are very high on Roman Anthony, and they're very excited for him, and they like him a lot. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he could do over a full 162.
Yeah, no, I do agree. And he does have a lot of potential, but it just, if we're basing it off of 2025, why is he above guys like Byron Buxton, Cody Bellinger, George Springer, Bo Bichette, Jeremy Pena? He does not deserve to be above any of these guys at all.
Yeah, I totally agree. He should be ranked lower than them, I'd say. And there are some other guys who didn't make the top 50 who could have made the top 50 over him, I think. So, yeah, I think this is kind of a controversial ranking for non-Red Sox fans. Well, it's going to be one of those where we have to just, I guess, see how it plays out in the future. But yeah, I'm kind of questioning that right now.
Yeah. Some guys that I am happy to see, though. Brian Wu, let's go. He definitely deserves to be in the top 50.
Yeah, totally. Kind of like Christopher Sanchez. He pitches in a great, thick starting rotation in Seattle. They have some great pitchers, and he kind of emerged as the ace for them this year. He pitched in the All-Star game. He deserves to be a top 45 player, I think, and he's going to be great in 2026.
Mm-hmm. And Rafael Devers manages to make the top 50. He's been around long enough to where you can still kind of expect him to do decently in 2026, and he still had a decent enough 2025 to where I could understand why he's in the top 50.
Yeah, he did sneak on there. He sort of slowed down a little bit once he got to San Francisco. Still kind of adjusting to Oracle Park. So it's going to be interesting to see how he adjust to that over a full season, but I don't think it's shocking to say he's going to be a top 50 player. It's just going to depend on how he adjusts to San Francisco.
Yeah. I think he'll be able to, considering how short it is in right field, if he can just really focus on pulling the ball and hopefully, working at bats to where pitchers aren't forcing him to always go opposite field. If he needs to go opposite field, he can adjust to that still, but really taking advantage of the pitches where he can pull the ball.
Yeah, one thing that he really excels at is pulling balls in the air. He pulls fly balls really well. So that short corner and the right field corner could be beneficial to him. Maybe we'll see some McCovey Cove shots.
Yeah. And we also see DeGrom sneaking onto the number 50 slot. I know you like that.
I love it, man. I'm so happy to see he's in the top 50. Jacob DeGrom's one of my favorite all-time pitchers. I was worried for him a little bit. There were a couple years I was concerned for him. He's been dealing with injuries. He's been missing time. Questions about how he would do when he comes back. Oh, he has to drop a couple miles an hour. He's still great. He is still one of the best starting pitchers in baseball. He is just so consistent and dominant. Just great run prevention. K per nine is great. He's great, man. It's Jacob
Yeah.
DeGrom. What do you want me to say? It's Jacob DeGrom.
Yeah. So that's the top 50. Pretty cool. Definitely some controversial picks, but definitely also some people who deserve to be there. So now let's just do a little summary of how many top 50 players lie on each team in each division so that we can get a nice idea of how these top 50 players are spread out throughout the league. So in the American League East, we have 10 top 50 players. The Yankees have three, the Red Sox have two, the Orioles have two, the Blue Jays have two, and the Rays have one. So by far the most diverse and equal spread of top 50 players in terms of like the amount and the amount per team.
Yeah, that's probably going to be one of, if not the only division where we have a top 50 player from each team in the division. And I think it makes sense. It's probably the most competitive division in baseball, honestly. And it seems like all of those teams are just getting better every year. The Orioles are really making some moves to contend. Obviously, the Blue Jays were one of the best teams in baseball last year. You can always count on the Yankees to getting at least close to making the playoffs. And the Red Sox have a pretty solid team, too. Obviously, they lost Bregman. They weren't able to get Pete Alonso or Kyle Schwarber, as some of the rumors said. But I think the pitching is really good for them. And they got a lot of young, talented guys who could make a splash. We talked about Roman Anthony earlier. But yeah, man, this is going to be a really competitive division.
Yeah, dude. But 10 players out of the 50 in just one division, that's pretty good.
Yeah, yeah, 20% of the guys.
Yeah, crazy. But I want you guys to pay attention here. There's going to be a theme for both the American League and National League Central divisions, and that is not a lot of top 50 players. So for the American League Central, they have just four top 50 players. The Royals have one, the Tigers have one, the Guardians have one, and the Twins have one, and the White Sox have none.
Yeah, yeah, that it feels like that's how it's been for a while, man. I don't know what it is with these smaller market teams not getting a lot of love, not getting a lot of competitors. What's interesting about the Tigers, Royals, and Guardians that you mentioned, their guys in the top 50 are all in the top 10. They each have one of the best players in baseball, but they don't have a ton around them. You know, like Bobby Witt Jr. is the best shortstop in baseball, but the rest of that infield, Michael Garcia is great, but the rest of that lineup in general doesn't really hold up to some of the teams like in the AL East.
Yeah, no, definitely not. And in the American League West, we have nine players from the top 50 in the American League West. The Mariners have three, the Astros have three, the Rangers have two, the Athletics have one, and the Angels have none.
Yeah, yeah, it's tough, man. It's unfortunate.
It's really tough around here.
It's rough around these parts. Yeah. I mean, I it makes sense that you wouldn't have an Angel in top 50. I wasn't expecting an Angel in the top 50, but I think the Mariners probably have the best deal here. Obviously, they have a top 5 player in Cal Raleigh. They got Julio Rodriguez, who's also a top 20 player, and Brian Wu, who's a top 50 player in baseball as well. That's going to be a very, very good team this year. They made it far in the playoffs last year, and I expect them to make it pretty far in this season as well.
Yeah, and they definitely have a decent amount of guys in the top 100 for sure.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So the National League East, another strong division here. We got 10 players from the top 50 in the National League East. The Phillies have four of them. The Braves have three of them, and then the Mets have the other three. The Nationals and the Marlins both have zero.
Yeah. Yeah, it's unfortunate. I mean, the Phillies that are in the top 50 are the guys that you expect to be in the top 50. It's the guys that have been there for the last several years, basically, except for Christopher Sanchez. He's a new addition there, but that is going to be, I mean, they're always a competitive team. They churn out the same lineup every year, and they always get the same results. It's a playoff run, and it's probably going to be that this year as well.
Yeah, I really hope to see the Phillies make a deep playoff run. I'd love to see the Phillies beat the Dodgers somehow.
Yeah, man, that'd be great. They got to win one World Series with this core, man. They're already losing some guys. They lost Castellanos. They got to keep Schwarber and Real Muto, but these guys aren't going to be Phillies forever, you know. So they got to win when they can. They lost Ranger Suarez too.
Yeah. Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah. They only have a couple more years, maybe three left to get to make this happen.
Yeah, we're getting down to crunch time.
Yeah. So remember how I said the central divisions were kind of tough and the last division had four players?
Yeah.
The National League Central also has only four top 50 players.
Wow.
The Cubs have two of them, the Reds have one of them, and the Pirates have one of them. And the Brewers and Cardinals both have zero.
Yeah, man. The Central is tough. Having like the Brewers not having anybody in the top 50, despite having the best record in the regular season last year, is bizarre to me. Like that's kind of just the team that they are. They have a lot of solid players, and they do well with them. But I mean, we've seen that that doesn't really play out in the playoffs, you know. And obviously, losing Freddie Peralta is a huge miss for them. That's going to be it's going to be tough to replace him for sure. But yeah, I mean, we mentioned the Cubs. There totally could have been more Cubs within the top 50 here. Michael Bush and Nico Horner kind of getting snubbed there, but yeah, I think the Cubs are probably going to have the advantage in that division there. I think they're probably the best team. They have one of the best infields in baseball. Adding Alex Bregman was huge for them, and they have an incredible outfield too. Even though they lost Kyle Tucker, they still have Pete Crow Armstrong and Ian Happ, two Gold Glove outfielders,
And Seiya Suzuki.
and Seiya Suzuki, who is incredible at driving runs.
Yup. Yeah, the Cubs have a great roster, so they'll be fine. But the National League West, the strongest division in terms of top 50 players, the National League West holds 13 top 50 players. The Dodgers have six of them. The Diamondbacks have three of them. And the Giants and Padres both have two, and the Rockies obviously have none.
Yeah, yeah. Sorry, Rockies fans. It's tough. Shout out to Hunter Goodman though; he's a great catcher. I'll say that. Um, yeah, it's no surprise that the Dodgers have the most on this list. They are the best team in baseball. They have the best players in baseball. That's just the best players just want to play for the Dodgers now. Essentially, everybody wants to be a Dodger. Um, Obviously, we see that with Kyle Tucker. I do want to shout out the Diamondbacks though, because even though they did lose several big names, they lost Josh Naylor and Eugenio Suarez during the trade deadline. With three in the top 50 is still really solid, and they have a great middle infield, one of the best middle infields in baseball. Um, so yeah, I mean, I'm glad that they're getting a little love.
Yeah, me too. So, in terms of all of these teams, I would say the best American League teams that have like the most likely chance of beating the Dodgers in the playoffs if they were to be matched up with them in the World Series would be the Mariners, the Orioles, and the Yankees.
Yeah, yeah, those are. I like that Orioles pick. I like that you're high on the Orioles.
They've made a lot of really good moves, man, and if their young guys can really pull it together, like they're gonna have an insane run.
Yeah, yeah, you're absolutely right. They've made some great moves during the offseason, adding two power bats and Pete Alonso and Taylor Ward. We'll miss you, Taylor Ward. We do already. And yeah, I mean, they've had that really good core that's just been waiting to break out altogether. You got Gunnar Henderson, who's had great seasons, Adley Rutschman, who can have great seasons, and Jackson Holiday is getting into his own as well. So you're not wrong there. That Orioles team is going to be really solid.
Yeah. And for the National League, I'm gonna run with the Phillies, the Diamondbacks, and honestly, as much as the Mets love to choke, I got a bit more faith this year. I think they'll be able to refine their system per se this year.
Yeah, yeah, I like that. I honestly agree with you. I'm high on the Mets as well. I was hesitant to think that the Mets were going to do good. Obviously, at the start of the offseason, it was not looking great for them.
Yeah,
They
they were
lost.
losing
They
everybody
were everybody was jumping ship. They lost Pete Alonso and Edwin Diaz, two of their best players on their team,
and Ryan Helsley and other guys
and
too.
and Brandon Nimmo, the longest tenured Met at the time. So the team is looking very different. There are three new infielders on the team. Francisco Lindor is the only one returning. You got Bo Bichette at third, Marcus Semien at second, and then Jorge Polanco at first. But I kind of like that, man. Those are some hitters. Those guys can get on base. Marcus Semien has struggled a bit offensively, but he's still one of the best defensive second basemen in baseball. So I think that they're going to do just fine, and I'm looking forward to seeing them not choke, hopefully, in the 2026 season.
Yeah, I really hope so. That September collapse was just devastating.
They're so tough to watch, man. I was rooting for them all year.
Me too. So that's basically a rundown of the top 50 players and how they will be affecting who will be the top teams for 2026 and what matchups we can hopefully expect in the playoffs. Especially, I'm sorry, we can't count out the Dodgers at this point. They're going to make the playoffs minimum as a wild card team. It's just going to happen.
Yeah, it's kind of inevitable. They're basically Thanos. They are inevitable. It's gonna happen, and we just gotta accept it, and we gotta hope that someone else beats them.
Yep. So now let's give you guys a rundown of the transactions that have happened recently. So I'm going to give a rundown of all of the transactions that have happened in February, but I found a really fun theme with these transactions, and that is all of the 1 year deals that have happened in February. So hold on to your horses. It's about to get crazy. So the Padres signed Nick Castellanos, Miguel Andujar, and German Marquez to a 1 year deal. The Diamondbacks re signed Zach Gallen to a 1 year deal and also signed Paul Sewald and Carlos Santana to a 1 year deal. The Brewers signed Luis Rengifo and Gary Sanchez to 1 year deals. The Dodgers re signed Kike Hernandez and Evan Phillips to a 1 year deal and extended Max Muncy for another year. The Orioles signed Chris Bassett to a 1 year deal. The Nationals signed Miles Mikolas to a 1 year deal. The Rangers signed Jordan Montgomery to a 1 year deal. The Rockies signed Jose Quintana to a 1 year deal. The Braves signed Jonah Heim to a 1 year deal. The Marlins signed Chris Paddock to a 1 year deal. The Pirates signed Marcelo Zuna to a 1 year deal. The Yankees re signed Paul Goldschmidt to a 1 year deal. The Angels signed Brent Suter to a 1 year deal. The Red Sox signed Isaiah Kiner Falefa to a 1 year deal. The Reds signed Eugenio Suarez to a 1 year deal. The Giants signed Luis Arias to a 1 year deal. The White Sox signed Austin Hayes to a 1 year deal. And last but certainly not least, the Detroit Tigers have signed old man Justin Verlander to a 1 year deal. And that has all happened within the last 19 days.
That is unbelievable. I did not realize it was that many 1 year deals, dude. Oh my god. Wow. I know that there's been a couple 1 year deals. I know about Luis Arias. I know about the Eugenio Suarez. I know about the Justin Verlander. Shout out to Justin Verlander going back to Detroit too for 1 more year. But wow, yeah, that is teams don't want to commit, man. Teams do not want to commit. I don't know. I don't know if it's because of the lockout. I don't know if that has anything to do with this or
It's
just
Anthony
teams.
Rendon. It's Anthony Rendon.
It's Anthony Rendon. Yeah, he changed the game, man. He, for better or for worse, it's for worse, but he changed the game. Yeah, it's man, and some of these guys like really deserve probably longer deals than this. Eugenio Suarez, 1 year, 15 million. That's weird to me. I feel like you want to lock him down longer than that, especially considering he had his best season of his career, two of his best seasons of his career in Cincinnati. He had 49 homers in Cincinnati in 2019 and then 34 in 2018. So, like, why wouldn't you want to lock someone like that down for longer than that? Like, I don't, man, yeah, it's a lot of 1 year deals, man. There's gonna be a lot of free agents next year because all these contracts are just gonna expire, and then we're gonna do it all again.
Yeah, dude. But the non 1 year deals that have happened in February so far are Framber Valdez signed a 3 year deal with the Tigers worth 115 million. So who's their catcher? Dingler?
Dylan Dingler, yep. Be ready.
Yeah. Do not let them dingle around Framber.
Have a build a good relationship with Framber Valdez. Make sure he likes you. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a little surprised at how short that contract is. 3 years feels a little short. Maybe that catcher situation comes into play with that. Maybe that's why they didn't want to commit longer. But I mean, I guess that's kind of been the trend of the playoff of the offseason. It's been a lot of shorter deals.
Yeah, literally. I mean, you just heard how many 1 year deals there were. And then lastly, the A's extending Jacob Wilson for 7 years and $70 million. He's a loyal guy because that's not a lot of money compared to what you could get for 7 years elsewhere.
Yeah, I was a little surprised that it at the numbers for this, considering it's 7 years, only 10 mil a year, only 10 mil a year. But like, yeah, I mean, I guess it makes sense. Like you want to after he had a great season, so maybe you want to lock up the bag while you can get that guaranteed money in there. But I mean, if he waited a little bit longer, I wonder what kind of contract he could have gotten.
Yeah, but I understand the feeling of wanting to be the guy to lead the A's to their first championship in a long time. I'd want to do
Ye-
that.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. Sort of like how the Orioles were a couple years ago. The A's have a really nice core right now, a lot of really good young guys. So I would love to see that team develop more and really go on a run.
Yeah, me too. I would, yeah, 100%. So that's been everything so far. Yeah, you got anything you want to add here, CJ, before we go?
I think that's most of it. I mean, there's been a lot going on in the last couple of weeks, but yeah, we I think we covered pretty much all we could.
Heck yeah. So we're definitely going to be covering more MLB in the near future because the season is starting up. So if you like that kind of content, please drop a like, hit the sub button, and please stay tuned for the next episode. But if you like Marvel and DC stuff, that's going to be coming out all year long. So don't worry about that. So we really hope to see you guys on the next one, and we hope you have a good rest of your day. Peace.